Hello, CA warriors. How are you all doing? Friends, today we are going to start with a very interesting topic. But, friends, before that, remember the goal of this video is not to go deep into every single concept, but to give you a crisp, exam oriented summary so that you know what is important and how to remember it smartly. This book and video together will act as your perfect self study partner. And I'm super confident, guys, that after this revision, you will be able to solve any MCQ that come your way in the exam. So let's begin this rapid fire revision session. And yes, if you find these notes helpful, don't forget to share them with your friends. So let's start with a very interesting topic, chapter 5, business cycle or trade cycle. Friends, in this concept will explain how the economy moves in waves, sometimes growing fast and sometimes they are slowing down. So let's start with a very interesting topic by the meaning. Now, that is what is business cycle. Friends, a business cycle refers to a rhythmic fluctuation in aggregate economic activities like demand, supply, income, and output. In short, it shows how an economy moves through period of expansions and contractions. Oh, typically, business cycle have four main phases. First is expansion. It is also called upswing and prosperity. It is a golden period of any country. All country wants that the country keeps on expanding now. But expansion, the second phase is peak, which is also called boom. It is a top point of the expansion. Another third phase is contraction. It is also called downswing or recession. And the fourth point is through, that is depression. So these are the four phases. So basically, the economy rises, reaches the top, falls, and then revive again, like a repeating wave. See this the diagram. Initially, this is the first phase. It is called expansion or prosperity. But as per the economic theory and the practicality, now expansion does not be unlimited. Now, somewhere expansion will reach to the highest point, that is called peak. Peak means it is an end of expansion. Now, this is the highest level of capability of the country he can achieve. After that, again, the slowdown comes up and then economic growth goes down. This downward trend indicates contraction. Contraction is divided in two parts, recession and depression. Oh, and then we get a through point. Through point means it is the worst point, it is the bottom point, it is an end to the contraction. And then again, like expansion does not have cannot be unlimited, similarly contraction cannot be unlimited. Now after reaching to the bottom point, now economy again will going to go upward, that is called expansion. It has two things, recovery and prosperity. Again they will going to reach to the point, again slow down. This cycle goes on in the entire country. That's why it's called business cycle, trade cycle, or economic cycle. But these ups and downs are always there. It indicates the growth of the country. But if you're going to see, if you're going to take out the average, you will always going to get a smooth growth line. But country never grow so smoothly, a straight upward sloping curve. No, it is an average of ups and downs. Okay. Now, oh, now the next point is, what is economist views? Now, different economists explain the causes of business cycle differently. Guys, four economists and all four economists have given a different reasons that why ups and downs are there in the growth of the country, that is economic cycle. The first economist is Professor Keynes. According to him, fluctuation happens due to changes in aggregate effective demand. Okay, guys, Keynes says now the ups and downs comes in the economy, contraction and expansion takes place due to change in the demand. And that is a fact also, guys, because the entire country is running on the basis of aggregate demand. Aggregate demand means it is a total demand of all the goods by of all the population in the country. Okay, so Keynes is focusing, Keynes uh, is giving a reason of change in demand. Second economist is Hawtrey. Hawtrey says that it is a monetary phenomena caused by changes in money supply. Oh, Hawtrey says the fluctuation take place due to change in money supply. Means totally different view. Hawtrey giving responsibility. Hawtrey says change in money supply is the sole responsible for the fluctuations causing in the country. Oh, Keynes is focusing on aggregate demand. This is one liner MCQ you should keep in mind. Third economist is Professor Pig. According to him, he says business cycle happens because of expectations of the business community. That is whether they are optimism or pessimism. Oh, Pig is Pig gives the reason that fluctuation take place due to the anticipation of the business community, whether they are pessimistic or whether they are optimistic. Means expectation of the business community, that is pessimism or optimism, create fluctuations in the country. Oh ho ho ho. Wow. Scumter. According to the Scumter, trade cycle result from innovations and technological changes. Wow. Scumter says if innovations are taking place in the country, you will going to realize expansion. But if innovations are slow, development is slow, you will going to face contraction. Now, all the four economists give a four different views, right? Keynes says the reason behind fluctuation is changes in demand. According to the hot rate, changes in money supply. According to the Pigou, expectations of the businessman, whether businessmen are optimistic or pessimistic. And according to the Scumter, it's innovations. My goodness, different reasons. But you know what? All are correct from their point of view. So the conclusion is now, whether it's demand, money, psychology of the businessman, or innovation, all can trigger ups and downs in the economy, right? Yes. So, after economist view, let's understand in detail what are the phases of business cycle. Friends, before I get into the phase of the business cycle, you should understand this curve. This is the business cycle curve. Cycle means now after one stage, second stage comes and it keeps on recurring one after one. So the basically cycle is first initially expansion, it's called prosperity. Then they reach to the peak point. Peak point is called ends of expansion. Okay, expansion is always a golden period for any country. All country want to expand themselves now, but expansion have its end. Peak. Peak means country or government or economy have achieved at the top achievement. Now, beyond that, they cannot achieve anything with the applicability of the with the availability of the resources. After that, again, economy goes down, which is called slowdown or contraction period. Contraction period is divided in two parts, that is recession and depression. Both are the part of contraction. But when country goes down, it is the worst situation going on in the country that government have to handle it, peoples are suffering it. But like expansion have end, similarly contraction also ends at bottom point. Now that is through point is also means now country have reached to the bottom point. It is the worstest can happen in the economy. Now nothing can happen worse than this. Okay, but as the generation changes, technological development changes, new blood comes, new thinking comes in the organization, in the country, new ideas, new innovation. Again, the country revive and it goes upward. This upward part is called expansion. Expansion at two stages, recovery and prosperity. Oh, and then again peak point. This keeps on going. That's why it's called cycle, business cycle or trade cycle. So let's analyze one by one. Guys, this type of diagram you have never seen in any notes. It is the to the point comparison and summarize crisp explanation. If you're going to read it once, you will be able to understand everything crystal clear. Okay, so now understand this diagram. This horizontal line is my average growth of ups and downs. Okay, smooth growth. Now the upper part is called expansion. Then they reach to the peak point. What happens in this peak point, why expansion takes place, we're going to understand each and everything in detail. And then after that again slowdown take place, recession, and when growth goes below average, it becomes depression and it reaches to the bottom point. After bottom point, again my country's economy grows, but now it is growing but it is below average. That's why it's called recovery. The moment it goes above average line, it's called prosperity or expansion. Okay, so this is how the diagram take place. So there are two actually main stages. That is expansion, and then peak, and contraction and through. These are the four stages, and then recovery take place. Recovery is basically a part of expansion only. Okay, so I have written all the reasons in the points. Let's understand in a flow one by one. First is expansion. Expansion is a situation where economic grow rapidly, where demand is more than supply. Oh, and you have studied equilibrium. When demand is more than supply, price increases. And when the price increases, seller are able to sell more goods. Now, their profit margin also increases. And due to increase in profit margins, the businessmen become very optimistic. They expand their businesses, new startup take place, higher production increases, all are happy in the country. It's a golden period going on in the country. Banking businesses give a very easy credits, loans to the businessmen, which expand further the businesses. Full employment, all the people are getting employments. Yes. Now, standard of living increases because when employment increases, their income level increases. Now, their standard of living also increases. Cost of living increases with along with income, and national income is also increasing. All positive things are taken place in the expansion, right? Business confidence is high, banks lend easily, new startups take place, country is growing like anything. Okay, now, but, friends, expansion reach to the top point and reach to the peak. Peak is also called boom period. Economy has its highest point, full employment, high income, high output. Price rises and the cost of living also increases. Guys, here in this period, inflation is increasing because demand is more than supply. But this inflation is not painful. Why? Because when your income increases and inflation increases, both increases simultaneously, in- inflation does not give any pain. You don't realize it. Okay, that's why with inflation, your demanding is increasing, your income is increasing, your standard of living is increasing. Everything is best going on. But it's an end of expansion. Peak is a stage where end of expansion, a happy, barabar. Now, it indicates at this stage, demand begins to stagnate because the market is saturated. That's why now expansion is stopped. See, peak point means you have reached to the toppest. Toppest means your expansion has been stopped. Otherwise, that point where you've reached could not be peak. Oh, market is saturated. So this is where expansions are now slowing down and the economy goes down and the period start called contraction. Contraction is totally opposite of expansion. It is the negative phase of the country where supply is more than demand. Oh my God, yes. And you know what? Supply is more than demand means people are not ready to buy, but businessmen are producing goods. They are conducting the production. Am I correct? Prices starts falling. And when prices are starts falling, businessmen's profit margin starts shrinking or they suffer the losses. Right? The sales and profit decreases. Business confidence become pessimistic. Prices started falling, profit declines, production income and investment reduces, shutdown take place, unemployment rises, and business confidence falls. Banks stop giving credits. So this is the downturn phase in the diagram, बराबर, where firm cuts the cost, and when firm cuts the cost, that means unemployment take place, economic starts cooling down, standard of living falls, poverty rises, cost of living decreases, national income also decreases. Oh my God, such a contraction phase. But negative period also have its end. Country after slowing down going downward they reach to the bottom point of the economy, which is the worstest now, but it's an end of the worst. It's called through point. Guys, this is the lowest point of the business cycle. Am I correct? Through is the lowest point where output, employment, income all are at minimum levels. Firm faces losses, bankruptcies and closures. These are the title to no investment. There is no or little investments, or consumer spending is very less. But remember, guys, after every depression comes recovery. Friends, recovery is a start of expansion again. Whatever worst situation has came up, now economy is trying to recover from that worst things. Slowly demand increases again. Now, to get business start, investments. Bank gives credits, employment increases, technological development take place. Oh, so friends, everything are becoming now more one or more time positive. So the economy moves back towards growth and the cycle starts overall again. So again expansion will going to come. So this is called a phases of business cycle. Wow. So now you know what, from the diagram, if you can see, there are two turning points in the business cycle. One is peak, another one is through. Let's understand what is peak and what is through. Guys, peak is an end of expansion. It is the highest point of the business cycle, but is an end of expansion stage where demand hits highest point and supply struggles to catch up. Oh, so it is called demand stagnation. Though when supply struggles to match with the demand, you know the inflation take place. And when inflation is normal, people can afford. But when inflation goes beyond the limit, it affects your standard of livings, right? It affects your income, and then the slowdown starts. So it is all about behavior and patterns, buying patterns of the public, that which is called economy. So economic cycles stabilize at the peak for a short time and then move reverse. Now, what is the through point? It is an end of contraction. It is the bottom point of business cycle. It is an end of contraction, the lowest point from where again the recovery begins. Oh, hope you understood. Yes, sir. Now, let's hope you understood the business cycle, the nature, each and every stage. So now understand the features of business cycle. Now, what are the features of business cycle? Guys, the first feature is business cycle differs in duration. Now, means some cycle last for the years and others are just few. Oh, there is no fixed pattern. Length of boom or depression differ each time. Okay. Now, ठीक है, there is no set patterns. Fine. So if you're going to see the diagram, see somewhere expansion is very shorter. Now contraction is very greater. Somewhere contraction is very greater. Now expansion is very shorter. Oh, guys, but business cycle is recurrent also. Recurrent means it keeps on changing its phases. You cannot avoid it. It will going to come in your ups and downs will always be there in your country, in your economy. It is a fact of our life. Oh, smooth growth is not possible. Average will going to be smooth growth. Fine. Next is, guys, in a free market economy is more affected in a with business cycle as compared to socialist economy. The business cycle generally originates in free market economy where private sector plays a very important role, government plays a secondary role. Okay. Now, as compared to agriculture, industrial sector is more affected. Okay, through business cycle. Agriculture gives more stability, but industrial sector is more affected through business cycle. Friends, now it is also stated that business cycle is very complex in phenomena, means it is very difficult to predict the turning points of trade cycle. No countries can predict in the future which now phase will going to come up. If they would have come to know prior, they would have taken government would have taken some precautionary steps to avoid that negative stages. Then so there would not be a contraction in any of the country. Oh, next feature is business cycle is international in nature and it is contagious. Means they spread from one country to another country. Nowadays, due to globalization, friends, due to globalization, now one country is dependent on the another country due to trades, they are connected to each other. So one country's inflation or contraction affects positively as well as negatively to the another countries also. Right? Yes, guys, business cycle 6 point. Business cycle does not affect all sector uniformly. Some sectors are more drastically affected, more seriously affected, and some sectors are very less affected. For example, fashion, retailers, electrical goods, houses, restaurants, advertisement, tours and travel. These all are luxury goods. In prosperity situation, they are in high demands. But in recession, they have a sharp drops in demands. So all industries are not affected uniformly. Some are more greatly severely affected, some are very less affected. Okay, guys, one note you should keep in mind, that is capital goods and durable goods. Now, capital goods and durable goods are very sensitive to business cycle. Oh, so those economy which are capital oriented, okay, they are more affected. So capital and durable goods industries are more affected by these turning points, I can say. Fine. So hope you understood the features of business cycle. Business cycle differ in duration, distinct phase, international, it is contagious, right? No countries can predict. It is unpredictable. Now, agriculture, so industrial sector is affected more. Capital good industries and durable good industries are affected more, right? You can read that. Next is causes of business cycle. Friends, in this we are studying now what are the reasons due to which this fluctuation take place, ups and downs take place. So broadly it is divided in two parts, internal causes and external causes. Internal causes means I can say the reasons within the country. External causes I can say the reason which is not, it is out of the beyond control of the government or the entire country. Oh, so let's go through one by one internal causes. Now, these causes has been derived from that economist view. First is demand fluctuations. Yes, changes in total demand directly cause expansion and contraction. That the Keynes have already said that. Second is investment fluctuation. Most important cause. Investment fluctuation is the most important cause because when investment goes up or down, business activities follows it. More investment brings expansion, less investment brings slowdown. Okay. Next is now money supply. Friends, macroeconomic policies also create economic fluctuations. Monetary policies and fiscal policy are also cause of business cycle, that is called supply of money. If money supply increases, it leads to expansion. If money supply decreases, it leads to contraction. See, increase in money supply leads to expansion, decrease in money supply leads to contraction. Oh, guys, one more. It is also caused due to business psychology. Psychology of business community. It indicates that the optimism, if businessmen are optimistic, it leads to expansion in the country. Now, if businessmen are pessimistic, now it leads to contraction in the country. That's why it is a duty of the government of India or government of any country to, to gain the confidence of the businessmen, make them realize that you people are safe, your business is safe. Now when government shows confidence, businessmen become optimistic and the expansions take place. Oh, next is fluctuation in government spending. Obviously, if government more spend, it leads to expansion. If government spend less, it leads to now contraction. That is called increase in aggregate demand, decrease in aggregate demand. Oh, now come to the external causes, which is totally out of control. First is war and post-war condition. Guys, during the war, the contraction take place because government shift entire resources towards the war. The development activities, productive activities get stagnated, and war bring destructions to both the countries, right, who are involved into the war, and it gives slowdown and contraction. But post-war, after war, again reconstruction take place, again expansion take place, again redevelopment takes place. Okay, next is technological changes. Friends, new technology and technological development bring expansions, right? And stagnated technology, outdated technology now leads to contraction. It's very simple. Now, one more other external cause which is out of control, natural factors. Natural factors means weather cycles also causes fluctuation in agriculture outputs. And agriculture provide raw material which is the base of any economy. So if natural factors are favorable, it leads to expansion. But if where natural factors are unfavorable, bringing destructions like earthquake, cyclone, flood, now infrastructure damages, it leads to contraction. Oh, so finally, I can say that there are so many reasons which bring ups and downs in the country, and due to which the entire country get affected. So I can say that business cycle is a macroeconomic theory. It affects to each and every corner of the industry. So yes, I can say human emotions plays a very big role in economic ups and downs. Of course, guys, when I say emotions, I talk about investments, optimistic and pessimism of business communities, public's demand, everything contributes to the business fluctuations. Am I correct? Yes. Population growth, you can see population growth faster now. mm, if population growth is high, it slow down the economic growth. Am I correct? Yes, sir. We understood. Now the last part, how to predict turning point of business cycle. Guys, how to predict turning point, when the peak will going to come, when through period will going to come, when recession is going to come. Is now the biggest question is, can government predict it? Guys, no, it is very difficult to predict the turning point of the business cycle. But we understand it is very difficult to predict, or might be cannot predict, but economists have developed a one method to understand the movements in the business cycle, and that method is called barometric method. So economist uses barometric method to predict upcoming changes in the economy. Oh, is it? Yes. What is barometric method? Guys, barometric method means analyzing the present events by collection of the data and understand future demands. So if you can now understand the future demands, you can avoid the negative cycle to come up, that is contractions. Because prior it comes, we government can take precautionary actions. Oh, so it is an index or relevant indicator constructed to understand the movement and forecast the future demands. So accordingly, now we will be one step ahead to avoid or to reduce the negative impacts of the business cycle, and gain the positive impacts of business cycle. So under barometric method, three indicators has been developed. First is leading indicator, second is coincident or concurrent indicator, third is lagging indicator. Let's understand one by one. Leading indicator changes before the economy changes. Okay, it predicts future movements. Wow, it predicts future movements. Now, for example, stock prices, changes in stock prices, new orders, capital investments in goods, etc. Basically, from leading indicator, now we are taking the actions. So leading indicator help government or to the public or to the businessman now to take the actions. Oh, next indicator is, that's why it's called leading. Leading means it's a leader. Now all the pattern starts from leading indicator. Okay, next is coincide indicator. Guys, what do you mean by this? Now, guys, it indicates changes along with the economy. Oh, along with the economy. It reflects the present and real time economic performance. Means if you want to check the impact, the short term impact, the present impact of the action taken, it in the immediate effect. Now it is indicated by coincidental indicator. Okay, like GDP, inflation, employment, right, industrial output, etc. But the another one is lagging indicator, which indicates long term impact. Okay, changes after the economy changes, shows past trends. It is a last, it indicates the long term positive and negative impacts. Due to which, by understanding this, the past impact, again government can take an action with the leading indicator. So this cycle goes on. It indicates long term impacts. It is very slow. So present effect indicates by coincident concurrent indicator, and long term effect indicated by lagging indicator. That's why it's called lag. Okay, example, unemployment rates, interest rates, labor cost, etc. So friends, remember, now the conclusion is leading indicator indicates future trend, coincident indicator indicates present conditions, and lagging indicates past performances. Oh, so by this, I have given you a quick summary of business cycle. Let's recap it again quickly in a 4 to 5 points. So first, what do you mean by business cycle? It is a fluctuation in economic activity. What are the phases? Now, there are four phases: expansion, peak, recession, depression, and recovery. Okay, what are the causes of business cycle? Now, business cycle get affected due to change in demand, change in investments, change in money supply, government policies, technological development, and psychologically of the business communities, optimism and pessimism. Okay, now which indicator are used to predict the turning point of business cycle? It's leading indicator before, coincidental indicator present during, and lagging indicator after. So guys, now this you hope you understood why there is an ups and downs comes in the economy. So friends, I can say that ups and downs are natural. Every depression leads to recovery and this cycle goes on. So now the next time when someone talk about recession or a boom, you will know exactly what is happening, right? So that's it, my dear students. This was your quick revision session. Simple words, clear concept. Now there is no room for confusion. If you understood everything in one go, say yes, sir, and give it one more quick revision. Remember, smart study is the best strategy. Keep revising, stay confident, and believe in your preparation. And don't forget to tell your friends that these notes are total exam lifesaver. Stay consistent, stay motivated, and I will see you in the next rapid fire revision.